In this lesson we're going to learn some basic power chords that are used in punk style guitar, starting with an E power chord at the 7th fret. It sounds like this. Here's our E power chord we're going to use. First finger, 7th fret, 5th string, third finger, 4th string, 9th fret. Now, as I mentioned earlier with power chords, you could add an additional note on the 3rd string, but in this case we're just going to use 2 for now. We're going to play the 5th and 4th string in 8th note patterns. That is, in one bar we play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Without me talking the rhythm out, it would sound like. And from there we're going to jump across the gap we have on the neck to the 6th and 5th string at exactly the same fret. From there across to a B power chord. And what we're going to do is set up our 8th note rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and jump across to this chord now. And from there we're going to move along the neck. That's B, that's C, this is C sharp, so we'll have a C sharp power chord here. So you have to make sure when you're doing the 8 downstrokes with the right hand, the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, that when you move across you've entirely completed 8. Don't chop any of them off. Like make sure each 8 is clearly heard. That means you have to be able to move these power chords quite quickly when changing. Now we're going to go from E power chord to a B power chord to a C sharp power chord, and then we're going to drop all the way back. This is quite a jump from the 9th fret where the first finger is to the 4th fret where the first finger is. 4th fret, 6th string. And then from there we're going to climb to the 5th fret, back to the 7th, and then jump across the gap and back to the E again. So let me just play you the sequence we're going to be doing. Now, some things to watch out for, once again, are being able to move the chords very quickly so that you don't get any sliding effect or any cutting off of that last 8th note. We don't want to hear that last 8th note, that last downstroke, being part of a slide to get from this chord to this chord. And from this chord down to the 4th fret in particular, let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. We don't want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, where the 8 is part of the movement to that chord down here. Again. Now, if you can perform these power chords with straight 8th notes, you may want to try doing accented 8th notes. That is, you still play all downstrokes like that, but on certain parts of the beat you put a slight emphasis. For example, if I emphasize on the 2, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, just because you emphasize a 2 doesn't mean you change the timing. Your right hand is still doing downstrokes at an even pace. You can also try putting an accent on the and after 3, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, which would sound like this. That gives you a particularly dynamic sounding rhythm style, so you're not just playing straight eighth notes, although there's nothing wrong with playing straight eighth notes if that's called for. Now, if you can do the accent on the 2 and the and after 3, you may want to try changing the chords we looked at earlier. It's a little harder to concentrate on doing right hand accented notes while half of your brain is trying to focus on where the chords go. But it would sound like this. Let's try changing our power chord sequence a little bit and adding different accents now. We'll start with our E power chord. We'll go to our B power chord, and we'll go down to A, and we'll go across to D. And then we'll repeat. So it's E, A, D, and back to E. Now let's try placing an accent on the 1, the 2, and the and after 3. So we have 1, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and. So it should sound like this. 1, 2. And when you can do that, we can try changing the chords like this. What I recommend you try and do is take some of these power chords, play the eighth notes, all the downstrokes, and just ad-lib putting in accents wherever you feel like it and see what works. A lot of times the accented patterns often sound like shots drummers make on the hi-hats, like that kind of thing. So what I would try and do is try and make up some of your own accents. Start out with your eighth notes. Keep a steady stream happening, and every now and again really hit one of the downstrokes hard and see what comes out. And if you can make up your own accented patterns, you'll be much better off and further ahead with doing punk style guitar.